Right. So, how is living in a jungle house? What has happened next with these 4 warrior brothers who had come to this retreat of March? Living conditions are simple, but enough, and more than enough actually. We live in one big spacious house that we share. In some other retreats that other people organize, everybody has their own kind of small house, which may be beautiful, but at the same time, living where I am in a jungle, it is more practical so that we stay all together, because it is more dangerous that if each person would have his own small house or something, it could be more dangerous because of the animals. We are in the virgin jungle. But also for another reason, which is a deeper reason for me, is the way I give retreats makes me remember how Abuelo, my teacher, the shaman, the Amazonian shaman, had taught me. I consider Abuelo the grandfather. Abuelo from Spanish means grandfather. We called him Abuelo because when I met him, he was already like 92 or 93 years old, an old man who had lived as a shaman with master plants in the jungle as a hermit many years in his whole life. And I developed a very special connection with him, where for me he was like my abuelo, my grandfather, and my master, my teacher. And anyways, I have lived quite a lot of time with abuelo deep in the jungle. And other people would also come to participate in the ceremonies. They would also want to get to know ayahuasca or do some dietas, so they would come. And me, as I was spending more time living with the abuelo, abuelo taught me to give ayahuasca and other master plants, and when people would come, I would help abuelo in those, and this is where I started. Upon the request of the shaman, my teacher abuelo, I started giving and guiding ayahuasca and other plants. And the way abuelo lived, I remember it with a lot of love and gratitude. Abuelo is no longer in this world. His body has departed by now, but I have spent a lot of time with him, and a lot of special times, special moments where also other people would come and I would guide the ceremonies over there in that little hut, living deep in the jungle in the very simple conditions, also making food on the bonfire, and it was even more extreme actually. So I think that in the way that I organize my retreats also was influenced by the way abuelo lived, and how people would come to his place is how I do things myself too. I'm influenced by the abuelo, and this is why my retreats are so hardcore. And this is why also we spend the retreat in one big house, in one big maloca house, where we sleep, where we live, where we spend most of the time, where we do the ceremonies, where we do the ayahuasca ceremonies, where we sleep on the floor, on the ground, on the earth, on mattresses. And sleeping on the earth is another thing that I like, because I like to have a connection with the earth. So on earth I have this, how you call it, like a carpet, plastic carpet, and on top we have the mattresses that each participant sleeps on. But when we walk in the jungle house, we walk like basically on the earth, and this is how we also connect with the earth. And I have this on purpose, to connect with the earth, with the jungle, with the fire as much as we can. And in this jungle house, yes, we spend the most time. We do the ceremonies, most of the ceremonies. We do practices. We can do meditation. We can do yoga. We can do pranayamas. The good thing is that mosquitoes usually don't enter this big house, so it is convenient and comfortable to be. Outside of the house, the good thing about the jungle where I'm living is that there's very little mosquitoes. There may be sometimes sandflies, but there are very little mosquitoes actually. Then we have a kitchen where we eat the food, obviously, and we prepare the food, and we make the food on the bonfire. We always make the fire, which is another thing I have on purpose. I find it is very important to make the fire and to connect with the fire, and this is how people who come to my retreats in those two weeks, they have experience of seeing the fire, being by the fire, sitting by the fire, making the fire. I'm always happy, very happy to see people who come to the retreats, the participants of the groups, to also be making the fire, preparing the fire, help to cook the food on the fire, and this way connect with the fire element. We also, when we cook master plants, especially San Pedro, which I like to cook for like 24 hours, a long time to cook San Pedro medicine, a long time cooking, but I also make it such that we go in turns for some hours. I am cooking for some hours and another person is cooking, especially through the night. We take turns, and this is also an experience that makes people who come here to have this direct experience with the fire, which makes us connect with the fire within ourselves, which a part of our true power. You know, you connect with fire, you connect with your own power, your own Manipura chakra. So making the fire is another part that I really find very, very important, and I like. We have a toilet, a simple toilet. We have the waterfall, where we call it waterfall. It's a stream of water that comes from the tube. I have installed the tube that is coming from a small, how you call it, a stream of water, and the tube from the other end of the tube, the voluminous big stream of water is coming out, which we call our waterfall, and this is the place where we go to take a shower. That is a really cool place because big quantities of water are falling on you. It's like the most cool, the most badass shower that you will not get in any 5-star hotel because it's like a huge volume of water is falling on you. That feels really, really cool, really invigorating, really empowering. The water is kind of, it's not cold, but it's definitely not warm. It's fresh, it makes you feel refreshed, and it gives you energies. It is invigorizing to take a bath, to take a shower in that waterfall. And many times people who come to the retreats, in the mornings they would go and take the shower in this waterfall.